Hello, guys, and welcome back to this week's episode of Monday through Sunday. I am so excited for this week's episode because it is something near and dear to my heart, and that is industry news. It is my favorite part of my job at Blossom Brands because every other week I scour the internet for all things beauty, fashion, and tech, sum it up in a newsletter, and send it all out. And this week, I am reviewing all of my favorite articles, campaigns, collabs, ambassadorships, all of that with you, broken down in detail. We're talking Alix, Earle Hero Cosmetics, Monica Lewinski for Reformation, all of the new tech updates that are unfolding. So much to chat through. So excited for you to stay informed. And this information will set you apart in your next meeting, guaranteed, or just at your next happy hour with your girlfriends. Everybody wants to be smart. Everyone wants to stay informed. And I hope this gives you just that.
Welcome to Monday through Sunday. I'm Logan.
I'm Sanam.
And I'm Lane. We're best friends, the founders of Blossom Brands, and the hosts of this podcast.
We can't wait to take you behind the scenes of running a 7-figure agency with our best friends.
We're sharing our mistakes, our lessons learned, and giving you tactical advice to build the career, the business, and the relationships you dream of, and a life you don't need a weekend to escape from.
So let's get balanced and let's get down to business. Welcome to the show.
Kicking off with beauty. First off, number one story, Pamela Anderson and Smashbox Cosmetics are teaming up for a new beauty campaign promoting Smashbox Cosmetics Primer. The reason this one caught my attention is because Pamela Anderson recently mentioned that she is now the co-owner and co-founder of Sonsi Beauty. I don't know if it's pronounced Sonsi or Sonsi, but I'm curious to see how that's going to go because that just came off of the heels of her being seen makeup free and her announcing that she is just looking stunning makeup free. And so this one was interesting because it is cosmetics, but then looking into it, it's for a primer, obviously, so it's not actually color cosmetics. So I'm very curious to see how Pamela Anderson is going to do and expand her presence in the space, but she's definitely having a revival, also coming off of her book, also coming off of her documentaries. So Pamela Anderson is the moment. We love her. We're here for her. We live for her. Next is Alix Earle is the Hero Cosmetics first global ambassador. This one I was also shocked by, not because it's Alix Earle. Like I obviously think she is so the moment where anytime she is featured as an ambassador, I'm like, oh, these brands get it. They understand. They probably have a Gen Zer running their media and marketing budget. Amazing. Very smart on their part. But the reason this one caught my attention is because it's for skincare and she has so notoriously talked about her acne journey. She has gotten Accutane and has been so vocal about it. And so I was just curious to know how people are receiving it when it comes to having done Accutane and a treatment that is designed specifically to prevent acne in the future, but then also being an ambassador for a skincare brand. I thought that was an interesting dichotomy. And so I talked to one of my friends that actually went through Accutane and she said, no, honestly, it's still so important to find good skincare products to maintain the treatment that you got through Accutane. So thought that was interesting. And honestly, shout out Hero Cosmetics. This is amazing. I also know they were acquired not too long ago. So this is a very big move post acquisition. And I'm really excited to see how this is going to trend and how honestly Alix's audience is going to receive this. Next, from a collab perspective, Nails Inc. collab with McDonald's. And that is a phrase I would never think to come out of my mouth, like Nails, McDonald's. Like on that note, I also just saw Olive and June is collabing with Colleen Hoover. Like these are the most random juxtaposition of collaborations in the space, but I'm here for it. I love the unexpected collaborations because they catch your attention. Like it makes you get stopped in your tracks and you're like, wait, what is this? Like, what's going on? And so Nails Inc. launched press-ons, polishes, and nail stickers, all that have to do with McDonald's. And honestly, I'm such a healthy girl, but I live for McDonald's. I love a French fry. I love a cheeseburger. I love a nugget. I love a McFlurry. I guess I'll just stop right there while I'm ahead. And I just would love to wear McDonald's French fries loud and proud on my nails. So why not, you know? The last story in beauty is that Shiseido's brand Earle, I believe it's pronounced, not to be confused with Ulla Henriksen. This is Earle, is among the first beauty brands to launch digital product passports. So what this is basically, it's like access a virtual profile for tangible goods. So basically everything regarding the ingredients, how you need to use it, etc. All of it would be digitally on your phone. How I envision this coming to life is more so like Apple Pay, where you kind of pull up your card info and can quickly look at it for some information about how to use your product properly. And I think this is really interesting. I think they're taking it from a sustainability journey about not over focusing on package and making sure that the customers have their information, but then also trying a new innovative way of keeping customers informed. Because I feel like half the time we have these products, we don't know how to properly use them. We don't use them in the right order. Maybe there are active chemicals that we should avoid with using alongside other products. So super innovative and super curious to see if this is going to become a trend in the beauty space or if it's just a one-time thing. Now, migrating to fashion topic 2. So Target is collabing with Diane von Furstenberg on a limited edition collection, and I live for DVF. I love DVF, and pro tip, if you're a DVF girly, you can find DVF for super cheap on the Real. I'm talking excellent, beautiful print wrap dresses. And so I will be setting my alarm clock for this, but also want to mention that Target did say that they're including wrap dresses in the collection. I mean, how could they not? Because it is such a staple to DVF. So be on the lookout for Target X DVF launching soon. Next on the collab front is Frankie's Bikinis is collabing with VS Pink, Victoria's Secret Pink. And the collection is going to be called Pink by Frankie's Bikinis. And I honestly think this is cute, kitschy. It's also a nod back to like Victoria's Secret's OG bathing suit swimsuit days. That was truly a time in our pop culture history. And so I'm excited that this is actually coming to life and super excited to see how people are going to respond to it. From an innovation perspective, Gymshark develops the first wig-proof gym headband. And I love that this is just so insanely innovative. And in reading about it, they were basically saying how they collabed with tons of Black women to really test this and make sure that it was worthwhile for them. And one woman quoted, "When you install a wig, you want to bide your time with it and have as much time with it as possible. The headband's technology and the science behind it is able to absorb the sweat without disrupting the lace." So I thought this was really fascinating. And I love that this launched on Black History Month or during Black History Month. So honestly, kudos to you, Gymshark, for being culturally relevant and doing something innovative. I absolutely love it. Last thing on the fashion front is Monica Lewinski being the new face of Reformation. I die for this. Like when I saw the subject line in my email, I audibly gasped because it was so unexpected, kind of like what we were talking about earlier. Anything that's unexpected and really catches your attention, that's good marketing. I guess like some can argue not, but honestly, if you're talking about a brand, I would consider that to be healthy marketing and PR. So what they wrote is that Monica's been empowering women to use their voice and feel powerful for a long time. So it just makes sense that she would help us do the same. And while great clothes won't fix everything, putting them on and going to the polls is a pretty good place to start. So basically her whole mission in being the ambassador or the face of Reformation right now is to get people to the polls. This is a big voting year, and basically wanting people to look fabulous when they're going to vote. So this is a super innovative campaign. And just thinking about these types of marketing campaigns, there's tons of layers of approval. And so the fact that it went through every single approval round to then go live is so wild to me. And I want to know who came up with this, how they came up with this, but this is fascinating. And the pictures for this campaign are so fierce, so fire. Honestly, Monica Lewinski, slay. This is amazing. And I love it. I'm super excited about this. Next, going into tech. So obviously tech applies to the greater good of anyone in the marketing space. And even if you're not directly in marketing, these are things you should be knowing about. So the first thing is Google Analytics 4 is updating their advertising workspace to simplify reporting. I just want to mention, if you're a marketer, you hated the fact that Google Analytics, Universal Analytics, changed to Google Analytics 4. This change, I believe, happened in July. Like they forced us to make the change versus like them giving us notice for a year to gradually make the change. And I don't love it. Every marketer that I've spoken to, and I feel like I have a good network of marketers that I connect with, no one likes it. This new transition, I feel like, was not done well. And the way the new GA4 is set up, it's not intuitive, it's challenging. So I'm really excited to hear that they're simplifying the reporting, and I'm curious to see if it's actually going to be effective. Next, TikTok launches its Add to Music app feature, available in over 160 countries. So basically, this is if you see a video on TikTok, you love the song, instead of searching high and low for what the song name is, because half the time it's someone reposting it, so you don't have the actual song name access, you can just add it to your music app directly. So AKA you can add it to Spotify or Apple Music, which is amazing. I have discovered so many new artists, tons of songs from TikTok. So this feature is super exciting to me personally as an avid TikTok user. Now, Pinterest not too long ago launched an inclusive AI feature. So basically you can search on the app based off people with similar hair, skin, and body types. And I found the body types to be really interesting because obviously that's such a controversial topic. Every brand, every platform is trying to be PC, but it's actually getting people to shop more. It's attracting the Gen Z customer. And so I highly recommend checking out this new feature because you can get very specific in how you are searching. I haven't looked into it too much personally, but it's something that I want to look into, especially for a lot of clients who appeal to different types of demographics or different attributes in terms of physical appearance. And so definitely check it out, but it's called their inclusive AI feature. Next, D2C brands aren't swayed by cheaper social media ads. So this was an article from Business of Fashion. And what it says is the cost to advertise on Meta, once digital brand's primary marketing channel, has finally come down. but startups will continue to decrease their reliance on social media, including investing more in offline advertising and in targeting consumers on Google where the intent to buy is higher. So I read this and I was just like, absolutely not. As a marketer that's managing brand dollars, who's also connect with other brand marketers, because sometimes I have these ideas and I connect with other people and I'm like, am I crazy to think this? And generally speaking, I don't know who's writing these articles, but I feel like the sample size of who they spoke to was extremely small, because I still believe Meta is absolutely the place where all brands should be investing unless you are in a very specific niche. Because, for example, if you're investing in keywords, it's like non-brand search based, that's very expensive. You can't just be targeting the word foundation, for example, when you're trying to target them with the specific foundation that has X amount of shades, that has X amount of coverage, whatever it may be. That is insanely competitive. And for a platform like Google, there are a few visual formats that they have, but ultimately Meta just absolutely crushes it for this type of content if you have the right content in place. So my theory continues to remain, the split should be heavily leaned towards Meta, Google secondary, and then depending on the platform, obviously TikTok and Pinterest can enter the game. It just depends on, again, what your brand goals and objectives are, and then what category and niche they're in. Next, this story caught my attention. It was from Modern Retail, and it talks about how Sonos revamped its website to drive D2C sales. So basically, the majority of Sonos sales happen in person at like the Best Buys of the world. And once the brand updated their checkout experience, actually making it longer versus shorter, which is typically what people are talking about in terms of optimizing your checkout experience, they saw a 24% lift in their cart completion rates. That is a very big stat. So think of how many times we shop on a website, we add to cart, and then we abandon. To recover 24% of those, or at least improve that rate, is significant. So the reason they did this is because in person, there's a lot of education that goes into purchasing a Sonos. It is not cheap, and there's a lot of understanding that people want to have when they're making an investment and purchase this big for their home and likely for multiple rooms in their homes. So then to add more information in the checkout process to basically supplement what the user isn't getting in person and making sure they still have a very similar experience or congruent online is what's helping them close these abandoned carts. Honestly, very impressed with this. I love to see it, especially in the midst of the day and age where there's so much chatter about making your checkout experience one page, simple, quick, and easy flow. In this case, it's an argument against that, and I love it.
All right, ladies, let's have a real talk. I know that we all obsess over our facial skincare routines, ice rolling, retinol, silk pillowcases, you name it, we've tried it. But here's the thing. Why are we neglecting the skin that covers our entire body? Osea knows that body care matters, and boy, do they have a game changer for you. Osea's Undaria Algae Body Butter is not your typical body butter. It is a spa-worthy experience made with ingredients typically reserved for the face, like Undaria seaweed and ceramides. Let me share a little secret from my routine. Right after I shower, I apply a layer of Osea's Undaria Algae Body Oil to deeply moisturize. Then, the piece de resistance, the body butter to lock in that moisture. Trust me, it's not just a routine, it's a luxurious self-care ritual. And the results? In just a few weeks, my skin has gone from dry and crepey to smooth, soft, and supple. Ready to elevate your body care game? Right now, we have a special discount code just for our listeners. Use code MONDAY10 to get 10% off your first order at OseaMalibu.com. Head to the show notes for the link and treat yourself to the most luxurious, clean skincare products from Osea today, because your skin deserves it, every inch of it.
Now, going into trending. So every other week in the newsletter, I always include a trending section and a catching my attention section. So trending, boy, the 50-part Reesa Teesa, who the fuck did I marry? Literally, what a moment in pop culture history. So basically, there is this creator named Reesa Teesa on the app that launched a series called Who the Fuck Did I Marry? 50 parts, like part 27, Who the Fuck Did I Marry? And just continuing and continuing. And it is a breakdown about how she met someone in 2020, the height of COVID, and ended up being with this person. His name was Legion, and it turned into a whole slew of lies to her, to lead her to say, who the fuck did I marry? And It was such a fascinating thing to witness in pop culture because all of TikTok was just digesting all 50 parts. So many people were posting recaps, and she grew, I believe, to over 3 million followers overnight. Not overnight, but like just in a very short period of time, all through the power of storytelling. And to look back on Alix Earle, she also blew up because of her power of storytelling when she was doing her Get Ready With Me's. Obviously, it's a little bit of a different story. I don't want to get into that, but generally speaking, Reesa Teesa just caught so many people's attention. Now she is so big. She's absolutely killing it. And it was because of this insane level of storytelling. And this also ties back to how people on TikTok are loving the longer form content. They want to sit, they want to engage with the content. They want to leave their phone up while they're brushing their teeth and not have to worry about scrolling for every 5-second video that goes to their feed, and just actually sit and watch and engage content. And I think that's also why people are now wanting to engage in landscape content for some reason on a vertically native platform. So this whole case study is honestly really fascinating, but shout out Reesa Teesa, and truly an example to all creators out there. Next is Base, the luggage brand. Shay Mitchell's brand is a prime example of a brand that turned bad press into a moment. So basically, people were ratting on the brand, basically saying, hey, like, the luggages get torn up so quickly. It's very annoying. And so they took that bad press and basically launched, how many times can I say basically in 20 seconds? I don't know. So they launched a bag wash with custom merch, with Emma Chamberlain coffee, and everyone was obsessed. You could come bring your bag. They would clean it for you. And I'm sure if they couldn't clean it, they'd probably give you a replacement because their customer service is that top tier. I wouldn't even put it past them. I would just assume at this point. And you'd get custom merch. Like, what an amazing pop-up experience. And I feel like brands are not using Base enough as an example. They're just doing everything right when it comes to maintaining and building customer support, loyalty, all the things. When they had a big warehouse sale a few months back, which I believe was in Orange County, like, people went crazy. The lines were super long for days on end. That is customer loyalty. Getting people to step foot where your brand is in person experientially is a whole different ballgame than just showing up online on your website. Very different. And they get lines on lines on lines. So shout out Bays, killing it. Love it. Next is catching my attention. So I always include this section as well, and just to speak to one of the stories. So Google is testing a feature that calls businesses on your behalf and holds until an agent is available. And I'm just obsessed with that. I think that is so innovative. That is so smart. I literally would pay for this feature because the amount of times I've had to wait for an hour and a half on American Airlines to change a flight, something along those lines, whatever it may be. People's time is valuable. Your time is money. When you are spending your time not doing this, you can be spending your time enriching your brain, making more money, launching a business, developing your friendships, like calling your mom. So many things that you can do with your time. So I'm obsessed with this feature. Shout out Google, because honestly, anything that saves my time, I consider to be an extremely valuable resource to my life. So that is it. Those are the highlights from my newsletter. Every other week I send these out, and I have tons and tons more stories. These are just some of the highlights that I wanted to pick out and speak to on this week's episode. If you are wanting to stay informed yourself and just be in the know of all things beauty, fashion, tech, or even just one of the categories that catches your attention, we are putting a sign up form in the show notes. So feel free to sign up, and you can expect an email in your inbox every other week. I love reading industry news, and I cannot encourage people enough to stay informed because it really sets you apart, especially those that are graduating from college and starting at new companies where you have so much to prove and build, all of those things. Stay informed. If you have nothing to do, just go read articles. That's literally what I did anytime I worked at an internship, and being able to speak to things put me at such a higher leg up and higher regard to all my other peers because I was informed. I was making myself valuable and useful. So that is it for today's episode. If you found this to be useful and helpful, please share it with a friend and help everyone else stay informed too.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Monday through Sunday. If you're building a career, a business, or any relationships, we know your time is valuable, so thank you for spending it with us.
With that in mind, we would be so grateful if you can spare 2 minutes to rate and review this podcast. Your reviews help spread the message to more people that work doesn't have to suck.
By the way, if you're looking for your community, join us on Instagram and TikTok at Monday through Sunday Pod. We're all about connecting our like-minded listeners together. Let us know if there's anything you want us to talk about by sending us a DM. We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you again, and we'll talk to you on the next episode.